Hello, fellas and ladies. It's freaking Emmy time, baby. So yeah, Emmy nominations are like soon, like literally a little over a week from when I'm filming this. And so I'm gonna start doing these Emmy predictions videos ASAP. These are gonna be done in 3 videos because I don't want this to be like fucking 2 hours long. So this one I'm just gonna do comedy, just all the comedy categories. That's what I'm doing this one. Let's get to it. All right, I'll start with comedy series, I guess. Number one, I still have Ted Lasso number one. I mean, it won. This is nominations. I'm not 100% sure if it's gonna win, but like, it's gonna get nominated. You know what I mean? Like, this is the one that, like, what do I need to explain myself? And then number 2, I have Barry. And I also think that's like a guaranteed nomination. And I actually think it's gonna win. But this is nominations. I don't know. I guess they're both gonna get in. So who cares where I put it? Honestly, yeah. Ted Lasso, Barry, Hacks, Only Murders in the Building, Abbott Elementary, and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I think that's your top 6 right there. Whatever order you want it to go in. Like, you get a Marvelous Mrs. Maisel number 1. Doesn't matter because it's getting in. Really, if you are missing something from that top 6 I just said, you're getting at least one wrong. It's because that 6 is gonna get in. It's what you do with 7 and 8 that's up to you. What I've kind of done is I've kind of done a bit of a process of elimination thing and with all the shows, and I landed on a couple of shows for those last few slots, and of those ones, the one I feel the best about is Curb Your Enthusiasm. Curb Your Enthusiasm, I mean, it's gone in every single season, and I know quality's starting to dip a little bit, but like, it's still a great show. So I'm gonna assume it stays in. And then number 8, I decided to go with What We Do in the Shadows. I mean, it got in for its 2nd season alongside 3 writing nods. So that's something really to look at. And also, I kind of need an FX show. And also, I think of the shows that I landed on my process elimination thing, other than Curb, What We Do in the Shadows feels more like what the Emmys would appreciate. Not that the others that I am going to mention aren't. It's just this one seems more so. Number 9, I have The After Party. This was very close with What We Do in the Shadows. I took it out really recently. I think with The After Party, it's like, well, what's stopping Apple from getting a second comedy series nod, especially when they have a slam dunk with Ted Lasso? I don't really know what's stopping them, except number 8. I need thinking there are 8 more that are more likely. Number 10, I have Reservation Dogs. I think in my last video I was a lot more passive towards this. I was like, nah, that's not gonna happen. I've kind of I mean, it's not my 8, clearly not so much. I haven't changed that much, but I'm a lot more like optimistic, I guess you could say. It got the Globe nod, it got all these nominations. Yeah, it's a possibility. And also, I do think one of the Taika shows is getting in. I have What We Do in the Shadows in, so that kind of checks that box. But I do think Reservation Dogs could still get in. And then of my process of elimination ones, the last one that I landed on in terms of like a genuine consideration is The Great. The Great's an interesting one because it's an awesome show, better than the first season. The first season was great, and no pun intended. First season was awesome, but it didn't land series or like actress, but it did land a directing and writing nods, which is weird. I don't know. No one really watches the show, which sucks. It's an awesome show, but like, I feel like it'll miss again, but I can see it sneak its way in there. After that, number 12, I have Peacemaker. Again, I said it before, I think Peacemaker is the dark horse. I really do. I really I'm kind of losing reasons why it can't get in, other than like buzz has just been razor focused on John Cena. But it's a comic book show, sure, but like, they clearly don't care. Like, they nominated The Boys, WandaVision. I know, it's not a comic book movie, but like, or show, but like The Mandalorian keeps getting in, and that's like adjacent. Yeah, genre is not the thing. It's a little juvenile, the show. I get that, but I do still think it has a genuine shot, but I'm not going to predict it. Blackish, number 13, final season. Don't really see too much of a reason why it can't, except that nobody's really talking about it. But it could happen. Number 14. I can't believe it's this low, but Atlanta. Man, what the fuck happened? I think it was number 2 in my last video. Well, I'll tell you what happened, I guess. Nobody's talking about it. I don't get it. Nobody. Okay, I do get it. I gotta stop saying this shit. But no, Atlanta, it's such a weird thing because come back after 4 years, everyone's excited, and then it starts airing and nobody's talking about it because they, for some reason, decided to sideline its cast. In other words, it's fucking Master of None. I came up with that comparison like not too long ago, and oh my god, is that not like the perfect comparison? It's so Master of None, and I face planted at the Emmys. Yeah, ever since that, I was already pretty like on Atlanta's Emmy chances, and ever since I was like, oh my god, it's Master of None, I was like, oh my god, like I think I'm correct about that. I really do. So yeah, not looking good for Atlanta. I think I might have to step out this year. 15 Russian Doll. Initially I was like, oh, it's Netflix's only player. That could be a thing. And then I watched the season. I was like, nah. Number 16, I got Our Flag Means Death, kind of just filling slots. All right, let's move on to comedy actor. Number 1, Bill Hader, Barry. I think besides a limited supporting actor, this is the easiest call to make. I think Bill Hader has this wrapped up. And even if he's not winning, he's 100% getting nominated. And I'm like 98% sure that Bill Hader is going to win as well. Number 2, I have Jason Sudeikis, Ted Lasso. He's that 2%. And he's getting in. He's a very iconic character. He just won. Yeah, I got no reason to think Sudeikis is missing. Number 3 and 4, I got Steve Martin and Martin Short for Only Murders in the Building. I think they are a package deal. And, I really think that, Only Murders in the Building is probably going to get really have a really great morning on the 12th. Yeah, man, I don't really see why they wouldn't get in. Their comedy icons are great. They picked up nominations. Yeah, I got no reason to really explain myself. Number 5, Anthony Anderson, Blackish. I know I, was basically am not even considering Blackish, but Anthony Anderson gets in every season. He really has gotten in every single season. Like, I should probably have him at number 3, if I'm being perfectly honest. No, okay, that's a lie. That's incorrect. Anthony Anderson is definitely not above the Martins. But yeah, Anthony Anderson, even in the seasons where Blackish just nobody cared, he still got in. I think he's good. And then number 6, I got Don Cheadle for Black Monday. The Emmys love Don Cheadle, man. They love him. He was nominated for the first 2 seasons of Black Monday, and I don't know a soul who's seen Black Monday. But yeah, no, they're obsessed with the Dawn, and I don't think that this season is going to be an exception. I mean, it's Don Cheadle after all. I feel pretty good about that top 6, honestly. I really do. After that, I got Larry David at number 7 for Curb Your Enthusiasm. I think Larry David, he could name check. He is a really iconic television guy. I think that top 6 feels so good that I think Larry David's got to step out. And also, he wasn't nominated for the last season that was nominated, even though he was nominated for series. So it's weird. Number 8, I got John Cena for Peacemaker. I mean, I feel like even people who were like kind of lukewarm on the show are admitting how impressed they were by John Cena's performance. I just think he might have to sit out this year. I think maybe he'll get in for season 2. But this season, I think he might have to step out. Number 9, Donald Glover, Atlanta. Damn, right? Like, it's crazy how low I got Atlanta right now. But it also makes sense at the same time because he didn't do shit this season. I really think Atlanta's going in for a pretty shitty morning. And I think that equally means that Donald Glover does not get in. I honestly think only one actor has a real genuine shot for Atlanta. Maybe 2, outside of guest. Number 10, Nicholas Hoult, the Great. Nah, I don't see it at all. Number 11, Jake Johnson, Minx. Also probably not. Number 12, Sam Richardson, The After Party. Just film slots. Comedy actress. This one's a little bit trickier than that. Comedy actor. Because comedy actor, I think that top 6, I feel really, really secure about. Comedy actress, on the other hand, I feel secure in about 4 of these. Number 1, I got Jean Smart for Hacks. What do I have to say about this? I think she could just easily win again. And even if she doesn't, again, no reason to think she's not getting nominated. Number 2, Rachel Brosnahan, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Could she be like a Bob Odenkirk for season 5 of Better Call Saul? I guess she could, but I'm gonna lean towards she's not that. I think Brosnahan, I think she's kind of a staple with this performance of Maisel that I think she's just gonna easily get in again. And I don't really have too much reason to say otherwise. And if she does miss, it's, I'm not gonna be like, I should have done that. Nah. If you predict her and she misses, don't slap yourself. Number 3, Kelly Cuoco, the flight attendant. Man, I I didn't like this season, the flight attendant, kind of at all. But I kept returning every week because of Cuoco, man. She's so good in this show. And I wouldn't even be that like stunned if she won for this season. She's incredible. I was like really like, oh my God, how did I not predict her from the start? Man, she's great. Number 4, I have Selena Gomez for Only Murders in the Building. I really think that her and the Martins are a package deal. I know Gomez has been missing, for, all the winter awards, but I really think that she'll have a comeback. I really do think she's got this. Yeah, don't really got much to say. Number 5, I have Quinta Brunson for Avid Elementary. You'll kind of notice that my tune to Avid Elementary is shifted since the last video. Because before I didn't really see the passion for this show like I am now. That said, I don't think Quinta has to get nominated. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think she's priority in the same way that some of her other co-stars are. But she has been doing a fuckload of campaigning. So I'm going to say Quinta does get in, but I don't think she's locked at all. Number 6, I have Tracy Ellis Ross for Blackish. That's another one that she just gets nominated. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I don't got much to say. I'll also move on to number 7, which is Issa Rae for Insecure. I thought for sure she was getting in, but man, nobody really gives a shit about Insecure this year, eh? Like nobody. It's absurd. She could just get in again though, especially considering it's the final season. But man, I'm so not secure about that at all, to the point where she's my number 7. And there's only 6 slots, so fuck. Number 8, I have Elle Fanning for The Great. I want her to get in so badly, and she really could, because she's been getting the nominations, but she missed for the first season. That makes me nervous. I think Elle Fanning will miss, unfortunately, but like, I'm definitely keeping an eye on her, especially if The Great does have a great morning. Number 9, I have Natasha Lyonne for Russian Doll. Like I said, when I watched this season of Russian Doll, I kind of just was like, oh, nope, this is not a thing. I think Natasha Lyonne could survive that anyway. I think that it is a very flashy performance, and she hosted SNL, so it's a possibility. I'm just going on a limb and saying Russian Doll is going to do shit this year, unlike its first season. But I still think, even on its worst day, that Leon has a shot. Number 10, I have Sarah Lancashire for Julia. A lot of you have DM'd me going, oh, you have to have Sarah Lancashire in. Like, you need to have her in. Why? I don't know a soul who's seen Julia. And like, I'm going to watch it eventually, but I have like no intention of doing it. She's playing Julia Child. I get it. Like, I'll consider the possibility, but like, I don't know why I'm getting so many fucking DMs going like, you have to do it. She's getting in. What the fuck is Sarah Lancashire? Like, is she in something besides this that I don't know of? Is she like has she been nominated for it? No, fuck it. Let me Google it. Yeah, never. She's never been nominated. She's not like, what has she been in? What the fuck are you all telling me I need to predict her? I don't get you guys. I'm sure she's great. I'm sure she's really good in Julia, but until I meet someone who's seen the show, I'm not fucking predicting her. All right, number 11, I have Pamela Adlon for Better Things. I believe she's been nominated before, but I don't think she's gonna make the cut this year. She could. Like, I could be incorrect. Again, she's been nominated before, but I'm gonna say no. And number 12, I have Tiffany Haddish for The After Party, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Let's go on to supporting actor. I feel this is a very stacked race, but I feel relatively good about my 8, actually. Number 1, I have Brett Goldstein for Ted Lasso. What reason do I have to not predict him, honestly? Number 2, I have Henry Winkler for Barry. Yeah, another one where, he could have done a little bit more this season, but he does a lot still. I don't think he's winning, but like, I think he's getting the nomination again. Number 3, I have Nick Mohammed for Ted Lasso. I've been snooping around. I've been seeing a lot of you guys kind of underestimate this guy, and I'm really kind of confused by that. He was kind of the star of this season of Ted Lasso in a way, for better or worse. But I really think he could win this. I think he's going to win. I genuinely think Nick Mohammed's going to win. He could. I could be wrong. It could just be Brett Goldstein again. But Nick, Kenan Thompson, Saturday Night Live. He's Kenan. I think Keenan's at a point where he's just going to get nominated for SNL until he leaves. And I firmly believe that. And I don't see why this season will be an exception. He just does Keenan again. And that's awesome. That's enough. That's enough for me to be like, yep, get him a nomination. Get him a win. I want Keenan to win. For fuck's sake, Keenan just win already. It won't be for this season, but eventually. Number 5, I have Tony Shalhoub in Marvel's Mrs. Maisel. He won Did he win every season? He won once. I know he won once for Maisel. He has a couple of other Emmy nominations outside of Maisel. Yeah, why would I question him? I think that top 5, pretty secure. Don't really see a reason why not to predict that top 5. Number 6, I have Ben Schwartz of The After Party. I've talked to a couple people who were like, oh, I don't think The After Party is getting the series, but I think Schwartz is a guarantee. I don't think he's a guarantee by any stretch of the imagination, but like he's definitely in there. Yeah, he's the talk of the whole, like, think about that. You have an entire cast full of really good comedians, and everyone's talking about Ben Schwartz in particular. I think he's going to get nominated. Plus, he has that. I won't spoil anything, but he has some really great moments in this show. Just watch the 3rd episode alone, you'll be like, oh, okay, I get it. If you haven't seen the show, but you should. It's a great show. 7, I have Anthony Carrigan for Barry. I mean, it's fucking NoHo Hank. What else I gotta say? He has a lot of great moments this season. Both hilarious and dramatic. Yeah, he's an iconic character on the show. I don't really see how he misses. Number 8, I got Andre Braugher, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That has been one of those things that's been chewing at me for months. And I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm acting on it. I'm putting Andre Braugher in. I think that Andre Braugher, like, yeah, no, the season isn't great for Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but like he's been nominated a couple times for this show, and it's the last season. So I'm like, hey, they'll do it again. Number 9, I went with Paul W. Downs for Hacks. I think a lot of you guys are picking up on this, which is great. I don't have him in because I do think that the other 8 I mentioned are higher than him, but like he could easily just slip in there. He had a great season with that phenomenal final episode. Number 10, I'm with Tyler James Williams for Abbott Elementary. I think that Abbott Elementary passion can go very, very far, including him. I just think that, I don't think there's only 8 slots. So I can't really put everybody in there. But I think Tyler James Williams can come along with Abbott passion. Number 11, I went with Brian Tyree Henry for Atlanta. I think all of the Atlanta actors, I think Brian's like the most likely because he had stuff to do this season. But again, I think Atlanta's just sinking this year, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to say Atlanta. Brian goes down with it. Number 12, I have Luke Kirby for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, who is in fact supporting, not guest. He won for guest before, and he does have an incredible finale monologue. But I think other than that, he doesn't really do that much. So I'm gonna say he doesn't get in. Number 13, I have Brendan Hunt for Ted Lasso. I mean, motherfucker has his own episode all to himself. Initially I was like, oh, come on, he has his own episode. He's definitely getting in, and he's great in that episode. And he was nominated last year. And yeah, you can kind of put an asterisk next to that because last year was last year, but still, it's worth mentioning. But also at the same time, I don't let other people's predictions sway me. But at the same time, after a while, I was like, why is nobody predicting Brendan Hunt but me? Like that, it finally just was like, you know what? Maybe he does miss. So I acted, and now he's gone. But he can still get in. Number 14, I have Bowen Yang for Saturday Night Live. I mean, if y'all follow me on Twitter, you saw that somebody DM'd me calling me a racist homophobe for not predicting him. Well, I guess the racism and homophobia continues. No. I think Bowen Yang could get in. Clearly, he's number 14. But I don't think Bowen's at a position that like Keenan is in, where he just gets in every single season. I think Bowen got in last year, yeah. But like, I think that was kind of a COVID thing. And also he had like that iceberg sketch, or even skeptics like myself were like, oh, okay, never mind, he's in. I think Bowen has to do a little bit extra to just get in. I don't think he's just a guarantee every time now. Number 15, I have Carl Clemens Hopkins. They got in last season, but unfortunately they didn't really do that much this season. So I'm gonna say they take a step out this season. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do get in, but I'm gonna assume otherwise. And then number 16, I have Chris Perfetti for Abbott Elementary. Again, the same kind of argument I say with Tyler James Williams, although I think Tyler James Williams has more of a prominent role in the show, which is why he's so much higher and Chris is so much lower. But I think Chris could get in if Abbott Elementary passion is just on top of the fucking planet. Comedy supporting actress. Number 1, I have Hannah Waddingham for Ted Lasso. Again, don't think I need to explain myself. She won last year. She's probably going to win again. Moving on. Number 2, I have Alex Borstein for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. She won for the first 2 seasons, and then the third season was the Schitt's Creek year. So naturally, she lost. Yeah, I think Alex Borstein. I think Alex Borstein's getting in again. She has that one monologue in the funeral scene in this season. So yeah, I think she's got. I think she's good. She's getting the nomination. Number 3, I have Hannah Einbinder for Hacks. I think she's got. Again, not much to say about Hannah Einbinder. These top 3, there's not much to say. It's like they're just gonna happen. If one of them were to miss, sure, I guess it'd be Hannah, but like she's got Einbinder. I think she's got this. I don't really see a reason why she misses, especially considering she's like basically lead. If anything, it should be swapped. I'm telling you, they're co-leads, but like if you're gonna put one of them in lead and one supporting, it should be the other way around. It should be Einbinder lead, Smart supporting. I don't get this. I get Smart's the bigger name, but moving on. Number 4, Kate McKinnon, Saturday Night Live. She got in every single year for the past 10 seasons. Yeah, I don't really see why her final season she misses. I guess my reasoning would be she was noticeably absent for the first part of the season, which is something I took note of. But ultimately, I decided that, like, I think, again, it's like she's kind of royalty for SNL. And it's like, well, why would she miss her final season when she never misses? Number 5 went with Sarah Goldberg for Barry. She isn't always nominated, but I think that Goldberg, what she did this season is kind of, it's impossible to resist. Number 6, I went with Janelle James for Abbott Elementary. Janelle James, I think she's got this. I even said it in the last video where I said, even if Abbott Elementary kind of gets shit canned, I think that Janelle can still has a shot. And now that I'm all in on the Abbott hype, it's like, why would she miss? I think she's good. I think this top 6 is good. Wanningham, Borstein, Einbinder, McKinnon, Goldberg, James. I think they're good. I mean, Janelle is like Ava, the fucking principal Ava. She's kind of the most popular character of the show. She has a lot to do. She's very, very funny. Yeah, I think she's good. She's good. Number 7 and number 8 is where it gets a little tricky because there's both a decent handful you can get from, but like there's not like a lot like in supporting actor. There's like a fuck ton. Number 7, I went with Adie Bryant. It's her final season, so I do think she's gonna get in. I'm just not as secure, but I do think she's gonna get nominated. And then number 8, I went with Cheryl Lee Ralph. I'm gonna assume you notice somebody's missing. I'll get to that. Cheryl Lee Ralph, I mean, for Abbott Elementary, of course. She's a very, not as much as Janelle James, but like Cheryl Lee Ralph is also a very huge standout for Abbott Elementary for good reason. I do think she's going to get nominated because she does have a lot to do and she's very, very good in the show. And also she's just kind of in a bit of an overdue state. I know she's not like hyper popular, but I do think I think this is a pretty ample time to get her a nomination. My assumption is you noticed that somebody that you probably assume is a lock is missing. And that's Juno Temple for Ted Lasso. Know what happened when I found out Adie Bryant, this is her last season. I went on Gold Derby and I grabbed Adie's odds, her 1 in 100. I'm like, I might as well grab him. And then it's like, all right, well, I got to take someone out, just so I can keep Adie's odds. Whose odds do I want to remove? And I went with Juno's. And I'm just like, fuck, that looks correct to me. It just looked right, unless a huge snub happens, like I said, Einbinder. I just think that this 8 looks too correct. And Juno was great. She was great. She got that SAG nomination, but I just kind of feel like she's just not the talk of the season of the series, and she never has been. So I do think she's very snubbable in that way, because like she's not winning. In order that she really have a shot. I know like someone like Hannah Einbinder doesn't really have a shot, but like Juno, you just can't foresee the possibility. And I feel like performances like that are snubbable. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is a gamble I'm taking with Juno. I could be dead wrong. I'm gonna stick with it. I won't be surprised if I'm wrong, but I feel good about not having her in. Number 10, I have Cecily Strong for Saturday Night Live. I think Cecily gets in a lot. I do think, though, that Adie, being that it's her last season, she could overtake Cecily. So with that in mind, I'm going to say Cecily misses. Number 11, I have Amy Ryan for Only Murders in the Building. Yeah, I think Amy Ryan, she's a name, much like the rest of the cast of Only Murders in the Building. A fucking stellar cast, right? I think that Amy Ryan, she does have these, I don't want to spoil anything, but she does have some very flashy moments, especially in the finale. But I think that, competition might fuck her over, especially considering she doesn't really have that much to do before that finale, but also the finale can be enough. Number 12, I have Maren Hinkle for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. She's been nominated before, and anyone who's seen the season, she has a certain scene that had me rolling. You know what scene I'm referring to, and she's so good in that scene. She's so good in this show. She's an underrated aspect of this show entirely. I do think Maren Hinkle has a shot, but I do think that these other ones that I mentioned are more likely. That's kind of the issue. Is a lot of these times I don't really have a real reason to not have them higher, other than there are more that I think are likely. Number 13, I have Zazie Beetz for Atlanta. For the longest time, I was like, oh, she's fucked, dude. She's totally fucked because she's barely in the season. And even more so than Glover and Lakeith and Henry. Like, they're barely in the season, but like they have a lot of their moments. Zazie has cameo moments for the majority of the season until the finale. And then the finale is when we go, oh shit, she could get in. She could get in. She has like an accent the entire episode, and she has to have these massive freak out moments. So it's possible. But again, I don't really think one episode just secures her a spot after an entire season of nothing. Number 14, I have Megan Stelter for Hacks. I think Megan Stelter is very, very good. A very underrated aspect of Hacks. She actually has stuff to do this season. She's not just a dunce. I don't think she gets in, but I can really definitely see a reality where she does. Number 15, I have Lisa Ann Walter for Abbott Elementary. Kind of the same thing I said with Tyler James Williams and Chris Perfetti. I think Abbott Elementary batch can go really, really far. And Lisa Ann has I wouldn't say a super showy, but like a pretty showy role. But I don't really think she'll actually get in. Number 16, I have Ariana DeBose for Schmigadoon. She could ride the wave of her Oscar win, but also nobody saw Schmigadoon, which sucks because she's amazing. And the show's awesome. Yeah, I'm going to say DeBose does miss, but maybe look out for her. And also, I know it says 16, but I will want to throw one other name really quickly. That's Sarah Niles for Ted Lasso. She plays the therapist. I keep an eye on her, I guess. I don't know. Something's kind of clicking with me that like she could like shock us all, but also probably not. She doesn't really do that much. Let's move on to comedy writing. For comedy writing and also directing, which are the last two categories. Don't worry, I'm not doing text. Because fuck that. For comedy writing and directing, it's very submission based. So it depends on the episodes. And for writing and directing, not a lot of episodes were submitted. So just keep that in mind. For comedy writing, number 1, I have Hacks. And the only episode they submitted, the only, which is the finale. Hacks won writing last year. It's about writing, not so much this season, but like it's about writing still. So I do think Hacks is gonna obviously get in. Number 2, I have Abbott Elementary for the pilot, and I think it's definitely getting nominated. I don't really like why that. I don't have any reason at all to question a nomination for writing for Abbott Elementary. Also, that's the only episode of Abbott that was submitted, so it's the only episode for writing that could get nominated. Number 3, I went with Ted Lasso, the episode Rainbow. I have a theory that for writing and directing, because of how absolutely stacked this year is in terms of comedy, that we're not going to get multiple nominations for a show in either writing or directing. So I'm only going with one episode of Ted Lasso for writing, even though they submitted 2 episodes. They submitted Rainbow and No Weddings and a Funeral. You all know what the Rainbow episode is, I'm assuming, if you've seen the show. And you can kind of assume why I'm predicting that one. It could be No Weddings and a Funeral. I have no concrete reason why. I'm not predicting that one, but that's what I'm predicting. Number 4, I have Only Murders in the Building. They only submitted the pilot episode. So I'm going to predict that one. It's a very writery show. So I really think it does get in. Don't really have much to say. Number 5, I have Barry starting now. I'm predicting it to win series. So I got to have Barry. And Barry, I believe, submitted 3 episodes into writing. Barry submitted 3 episodes, 7, 10, and Candy Asses and Starting Now. I'm going with Starting Now for my Barry prediction, as it's the finale, and it's very well written. It's a very well written show altogether. Its focus isn't there, as opposed to like its directing and its acting, which we'll get into. Well, directing wise, we already got into with acting. I think that this is gonna get in. I think Barry's gonna get a writing nod. And I think Starting Now is it's most likely, in my opinion. Number 6, I went with The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel the episode Everything is Belmore. That, I believe, is the only episode that was submitted, which is why I'm predicting that one. I think Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I think I have the top 6, the easy 6 in series in writing, but there's 7 slots, so I have one more. But I think Maisel, it's a very writery show, so I don't really have any much to say. Number 7, I went with What We Do in the Shadows, the episode being the Wellness Center. I mean, like I said before, What We Do in the Shadows second season got 3 writing nods, and they only submitted 2 episodes for writing, this and the episode The Casino. So I don't really have a reason to go with the Casino over the Wellness Center, except I liked the Wellness Center more than the Casino. Number 8, I went with The Great, the episode being Alone at Last, which I believe is the first episode of the season. Like I said, the first season got into writing, but I don't know if this season will repeat. Number 9, Ted Lasso, No Weddings and Funeral. They do have a very showy, writery moment with Ted and Rebecca. Like I said before, I don't think one show is going to get 2 writing or 2 directing nods, but I suppose when it comes to writing, if one show were to do it, I think it's Lasso. Number 10, The After Party, the episode Maggie. This is the only episode they submitted. Again, The After Party is an incredibly writer-focused show, and the episode they submitted, Maggie, is the reveal episode where we find out what happened. It's super, super, super smart and super funny. So I really think it has a shot here, but I'm going to say no. Number 11, Atlanta. The episode 3 Slaps. For writing, they actually submitted 3 episodes. This one, which is the pilot, Terrare and Rich Wigga, Poor Wigga is what it is called. I swear to God. But I'm going with 3 Slaps because I think it's the first episode of the season. So I'm just going to go with that one. Number 12, I went with Reservation Dogs, episode fucking Res Dogs. That's the name of the episode, I swear. It's the pilot episode. And I think Reservation Dogs could get in. But it's similar thing to the After Party in Atlanta. It's just other shows are going to get nominated that aren't these shows. Number 13, I'm with the other What We Do in the Shadows episode. Just the other one, just in case. And then number 14, I had Barry, Candy Asses, because they submitted 3 episodes. So worth considering at least 2 of them. All right. And finally, comedy directing. Number 1, come on, it's Bill Hader for Barry, episode 710N. It's the only episode they submitted for directing. That's how confident they are. We can honestly move on. It's going to be that. It's going to win too. We all know why. We all know why it's going to get nominated. We all know why it's going to win. Number 2, Only Murders in the Building, episode The Boy from 6B. This is the episode, if you've seen the show, where there's no dialogue. It's just all kind of sign language and silence, and which is very impressive on a directing standpoint. So I actually do think this episode's definitely going to get in. Number 3, I went with Ted Lasso, No Weddings and a Funeral. I believe they submitted a couple episodes for directing for Ted Lasso, but it's not like a directory show, and there are other slots, but I do think Ted Lasso is getting a directing nomination, and I went with this one because it's the best episode of the season. Number 4, I went with Hacks, the episode There Will Be Blood, which is the first episode. Hacks won director last year, so I got it predicted again to get nominated. Obviously, it's not going to win again. I think. No, I'm talking about Bill Hader's going to win. Number 5, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, episode How to Get to Carnegie Hall. I believe that's the only episode they submitted. I'm not going to check. I don't want it. Yeah, I think Marvelous Mrs. Maisel could get another. I think it won directing before. I'm definitely wrong about that. What am I talking about? Let me just double check. It did win directing. It did for the first episode. Oh, shit. What do you know? Well, I'm going to predict it. I'm predicting it to get a nomination. It has very good directing. Number 6, I went with the After Party episode Jasper. This is the musical episode. I think anyone who was just like, oh, fuck you. And then I said, it's a musical episode. I'm sure you're like, it's still fuck you, but a little less. I think even if it doesn't get into series, yeah, sure, it's more of a writer show, but I think that episode is so flashy in its direction that it can get in no matter what the fate of the show is. Number 7, I have Be Positive, episode A Dishwasher, a Fire, and a Remote Control. You're probably thinking, what? Why the fuck Be Positive? What is that show? Which is the correct response, but there's a reason why. Basically, it's a rule with the directing ballots. Basically, you have to have, as long as there's a certain amount of multicam series, you got to have one of them in director. And it got nominated last year, so I just kind of rolled the dice and what would Be Positive. I don't really know which episodes. I don't even know if this is the best directed episode. I'm just going with that one. Fire. Number 8, one with Abbott Elementary, the pilot. I don't think this Abbott Elementary is an interesting one because it just does not need directing. I could easily get directed. It's number 8. It's literally one off. If it wasn't for the rule, I would have Abbott Elementary and director. But it doesn't need it. It could, but it just doesn't need it. Number 9, with Ted Lasso, Beard After Hours. That was a pretty showy direction. It's all focused on Beard. and also there's some weird artistry in this episode. So I do think this could easily get in over No Weddings and a Funeral, but I'm going with that one still. Number 10, Reservation Dogs, Hunting. Reservation Dogs, man. Reservation Dogs. It's the hunting episode. If y'all watch the show, you get why I'm predicting this in director. Well, at least I have this at number 10 in director. I don't think it's going to get in, but I think it could. And that's why it's number 10. Number 11, Atlanta, New Jazz. I believe it won director before. So I'm definitely going to predict it to potentially get a director nod. But again, I'll keep saying that. I think Atlanta's heading for a really shitty morning. So yeah, number 12, The Great. Again, the first season got nominated for directing, even without a series nod, so it could happen again. But I'm gonna keep saying it. I don't think so, but it could. Number 13, I have Peacemaker episode. It's Cow or Never. Get it? James Gunn directed it, which is kind of the reason why I have it here, which is good enough reason, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Unless Peacemaker has a great morning, which I don't really think it's going to happen, but like it's possible, I suppose. But, you know, James Gunn, he's been making the rounds, and this is an action episode, so maybe. And then number 14, I have Curb Your Enthusiasm for the Watermelon. Film slots. All right, that's everything. I'm going to make the drama one and the limited one in a couple of days before the Emmy nominations come out. I promise. Like, subscribe to watch them. If you're not allowed to watch the future ones if you don't like to subscribe. That's actually a fact. All right, that's it. Over now. It's a Lego on my arm. Embarrassing.